Welcome back to RuralVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith. And tonight we're talking about some easy, cheap land. I got Ben Dow on the line. And Ben and I have done some mailers in the past. And Ben, we bought some land, right?
Yeah, I've done only two deals, and I bought them off you and did them myself.
Yeah.
And we did some mailers together, but you did all the work.
Yeah.
I just gave you money, and then you just did all the work, and now I want to learn how to do it exactly like you and start, helping you with the process.
Yeah, so Ben was just telling me that he just signed up to Land Academy. That's where I learned to do this. So I think you're working through their educational stuff, or you're through it, or you're just starting into it, or...
I'm just starting some of the videos. I haven't signed up for all the data stuff and all those things. I've just gone through it. I just got back from Arizona, so it's been about 2 days and just going through a lot of the videos, the cash flow for land videos.
Okay, good deal. Do you have any questions so far on it? I mean, I don't know if I'm the right person to answer them, but I might be able to.
I'm sure I'll have a lot more. And like I said, I've been following the podcast for over 2 years maybe. So I have an idea, but it's kind of like just putting all the pieces together. And
you do your own podcast too. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask you about that or not. What's your podcast?
Thanks, Liz. Okay, so I have something called Big Time Dreams Podcast. So you only have one life. You might as well do it big time. I interview people that actually love their job.
Nice.
Yeah, so not a lot of people love their job, but it's so cool when people actually love their job. And I like my job. My goal is to be a full-time real estate investor. I do rental properties. Now I'm getting into land, and I'm sure you love your job too.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. So if I put a shout out to your podcast, like I'm not a podcast genius. I mean, there's like podcast software and you search for something, right? Like how do I search for your podcast? I looked it up in the past, but I don't remember.
The best way is if you have an iPhone, there's a podcast app that's on there, and you look up Big Time Dreams Podcast, or you can just Google Big Time Dreams Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts, like Stitcher or Google Play, Spotify, something like that.
Okay. Can you give me an example? What kind of, what's the show topic?
So I interview people that actually love their job. So I've had a horse trainer on. I've had musicians on. How do you make it a full-time job, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I have a lot of internet marketers. I have real estate people, lenders.
So they take their passion and they turn it into a full-time gig, like pays the bills.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I love that. And even if you're not, a job is a big part of your life, and I had to grind it out for 15 years in accounting, so
yeah. I
know how it is just to get to my dream as a full-time real estate investor. So it's super cool when people actually love what they do and hopefully make more money than they did at their job.
I think when you have the passion, you dig into it a lot more. You do a lot more research. You ask a lot more questions. I mean, I see that in lots of different areas. I used to invest in a lot of penny stocks. I used to broker a lot of penny stocks, and that was one of the hugest factors, isn't the right English. This was one of my favorite factors was being able to call those companies and see if they actually answer the phone. See if you get some receptionist person that just shoves you in a box somewhere and gets rid of you. Like if you're going to call a Microsoft Investor Relations or something, right? I want to buy 100 shares. They don't care. But if you call these penny stock companies and I want to buy whatever, some dollar amount, 5-10 grand worth or something, they care. You get the president on the phone and he talks to you and tells you about his company and his business and why it's great and why they're going to grow and why, how they're doing it. They don't necessarily get into inside information, but they give you an education about their passion and what they love. And that was something that I could get over the phone, or I could get in presentations from these different penny stocks, and you could just tell which guys were more into it and knew their stuff. Like as I interviewed hundreds, if not thousands, of those companies at different occasions and different sales pitches and stuff. And the ones that cared and they asked those questions, how can I make it better? How can I improve? How can I move it forward? How can I, that house stuff, they cared about their investors. those are the companies that usually had a better chance of panning out over time, because it wasn't just me that was calling them. It was people that wanted to do business with them that were calling them about the next deal, the next joint venture, and all that kind of stuff. And they were talking to those guys too, and they were landing deals, and they were making them happen. And that was always a piece of it. That was always fun. Part of the penny stocks.
When you actually love your job, you'll see it through. You know,
yeah.
So that's what I've been learning. But a lot of people, they love their job, but they don't know how to do business.
Yeah.
So it's like teaching people the struggles of how to manage your own business, small business.
Yeah,
that's it up, you know?
Such a huge part of it. Like, I'll never say I know how to do small business. I mean, I do a lot of small business stuff, but I mean, there's so much to learn. There's so many ways I could be better at this. It's not even funny. So that would be cool. I should listen to your show and learn some of their tricks and ways to get into it.
Big time dreams, man.
There you go.
Motto.
Okay, so I just added it to the description box of this video. So if anyone else is out there is listening, trying to figure out Ben Dow's podcast, how to get there, I just added what you search into the description box below. So if you read the description of the video, you should find that.
I see that. I appreciate that.
Cool. And reference for myself too. So Ben reached out to me earlier today. He did like a week ago or 2 weeks ago as well. Luke, let's do a mailer. Let's do a mailer. Let's do a mailer. And I keep saying, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm like, okay, let's just do it tonight. Put the kids to bed. Let's do it. Let's get this going, right? It's just bada boom, bada bing. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Yeah. So we're on the phone, and I have a little bit of a dream. Maybe it's part of my wife too. She loves horses, right? She really loves horses, and she's always looking for a great place to have her horses. She's got she's just picked up another horse this week. I don't even know how many horses she has. It's probably 10 or 12 horses. There's always one going lame and going out, shipped off somewhere in a glue factory or something. It's not, she loves the horse, so I shouldn't say it that way, but you know what I mean. She's always trying to get rid of one or two, and she's always trying to buy one or two, so there's always flux. So I want to say 10, maybe 12 horses that she has at any given time. And she's always looking for places to like keep horses and hide them away when they're laid up or something. And she was telling me about this place that's a bit cheaper for horse land north of LA. It's a little bit greener, and it's a Atascadero, and it's in San Luis Obispo County. And Ben is saying he used to live in San Luis Obispo County. And if we pull up San Luis Obispo County, I'm going to switch over to the computer screen with a corny looking map on here. Bunch of colors. This is California, guys, if you didn't figure that out. So I got a map of California and the counties of California on the map. Los Angeles is down here. It's Los Angeles County, Orange County. I'm down here in San Diego County. We got Ventura County, Santa Barbara County. That's bigger money. That's like, it's a lot more expensive stuff. And as you go north, you get San Luis Obispo, and then you got Monterey, and you start getting into the Bay Area. It just gets more expensive again. So kind of in between Los Angeles and San Francisco, there might be a little gap in there, like in the middle, where it's still kind of green, and there's still a lot of people on either side that might want to buy these properties, and they still have nice schools, but you're not going all the way back into like Bakersfield, Kern County, flat, boring stuff that looks like could be fun, right? So I think that's the idea. We're going to search some of these counties and areas and see if we can hit some of these towns, maybe town by town specific kinds of pricing, make some cash offers, buy some land, buy it, sell it, and see what happens, see what we end up with. I'm watching a bunch of comments go by. Maybe Ben, if you've got the live video up, you could, while I'm playing around on the computer here, maybe you could kind of read comments and stuff. I think it might keep it a little more interactive.
Okay, I can read some of the...
Yeah, someone's saying, tell us more about your future homeschooling project plan. My homeschooling project plan. There you go. Oh, wow, guys. Oh, I have new plans all the time. Doesn't mean I carry through with them. Carry them out. Homeschooling project plan. I mean, my kids are... One's just finishing first grade. One's just finishing preschool. So next year I've got a kindergartner and a second grader. We just changed schools with my daughter. She's been going to this private school, and she's not really learning how to read that well. So I've been really focusing in on that and trying to up the score there. And there's a lot more help at the public school for that, and hiring stuff on the side instead of paying for the private school. So my wife and I, more my wife pushing for it than me. I like the private school. We got her into the same school that my son's going to, so they're both going to go to the same school in the fall. They're going to go to public school, and we'll see how it goes. I always hated public school as a kid. I went to a private school later on, and I thought it was awesome, changed my life. But everybody's different. We'll see how it is. Maybe we'll go to homeschool someday. There's a lot of different versions of schooling.
Public school way better.
Public school's way better.
Yeah, it gives you some toughness.
Give you some toughness, right? I think my son needs to go to public school because everywhere we go, I'm not worried about him getting hurt. It's always him hurting somebody. It's a different conversation. So I think the kids at public school could take it better. The teachers will be better at it. Send them to the wrong side of town, and then maybe I can relax a little bit. Yeah, there's who knows how it turns out. Let's get into the mail. Maybe Ben, you can read some of the other comments there. See if we can keep up with some comments.
Okay, just want to give a shout out to Beaver Cat, Mittens, Ron Connor, Merrick
There you
Whitman,
go.
we see you. Hey, Tammy, Ron Connor, Pam H, Spartacus, and everybody else. Yeah, San Luis Obispo is beautiful. Yep, someone said that here. Pam, I used to live out there. I got a job for a year doing some software company stuff, and I moved out there from the Bay Area, and I loved it.
Do you have to know how to spell the place you're going to mail it? It's pretty bad, right? Let's just do the county. See if I can get this to flow. So this county, I was looking at it a little bit earlier. And if you get out into the backside, you get closer to Bakersfield. And if anybody on this call has been to Bakersfield, I mean, I'd start worrying more about my son getting hurt in those schools. It's a tougher part of town, right? It's
it kind of has a bad rep, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, Fresno, Modesto, Stockton, those type of things are.
Yeah.
A little bit have a better rep.
Yeah, but if you get past the towns into the hills, you get more creative properties. You get stuff that's more, the younger families going out, getting away from town, going to a place their kids can run around. They can have a dog and go for it. They could have some horses. They could have some goats and sheep and chickens and whatever, right? They have more room to run around. And so I think those kinds of places are attracting people. And the bigger towns, the more well-known name towns are overpriced. And so I think a lot of the stuff in between is attracting people. And that's the kind of stuff I'd like to be involved in. So not the back side of the town, like especially this one neighborhood. I'm going to zoom in on it here in Zillow. And it's called California Valley. If you look at this thing, it's just north of Soda Lake. There's not a million, but a ton of these 2.5 acre properties. Looks like there's 5s and 2.5s. There's just a sea of them. I don't think any of them are developed. Let's see if we can get a satellite. Yeah, maybe a couple of them over here are developed. For the most part, they're not developed though. It's just like paper community. There's a bunch of solar fields over here as well. But there's properties for like, $2,000, $1,000. It's like a broken market. So I do not want to mail there. Yeah.
Off a quick tangent. This is one of my thoughts about land and solar. I've heard that you could actually buy land and then the energy company can, you know, set up the solar panels and the wind turbines for you, and then you can feed it back to the grid.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah. So I've had lots of those sales pitches, and when I started doing land, I started listening to them a lot more, because it was like, oh, that sounds great. You know, they could pay me. I could get these crazy monthly checks, and I'm going to be in the energy business. It's going to be awesome. Like, I can go scoop up desert by the hundreds of acres and like feed it to them. And so you get into the negotiations with them, and they want permission to build their solar. They want permission. They want to lock it up for a certain amount of time, like 5, 10, 20, 30. I totally understand. You're going to build something on the property. You should lock the thing up forever. 30 years or something. I don't know. But they want like 10 or 20 years. They want to lock up your property, and then contingent upon getting the right prices of energy. Like, they've got to get financing. They've got to get the energy price sold onto the grid, or sold to the power company, contracted in at some price. Because what they're trying to do, because I saw this a lot in the penny stock business with all kinds of mining operations and energy operations, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, hydroelectric projects, geothermal projects, junk to run turbine, burn sewage projects, run turbines, all kinds of them, right? In the penny stock business, you're basically borrowing the credit rating of the company that you're selling power to. And so if you sell power to a big cement producer, or somebody that consumes a lot of power, Google, Amazon, the state, the local power company buys it from you. You get a contract with them. You can sell this much power to them for this many years. You can take that to the bank, and you can get debt financing against that contract that costs like next to nothing. It's really cheap money, right? Because they know they're going to get paid by the power company if you build your stuff. So you lock in that power price with the power company. You lock in the build with some building company. Lots of times the company, solar company, turbine companies, whoever, will build a lot of that stuff with this, as part of the financing, and you can just make it all happen. So they start by locking up the land, and then trying to lock up the power price. And they might be speculating that the power price is going to go up, and they can lock it up at something higher in the future to get the economics to work on the project. Like, the power price goes up, the cost of the turbines goes down, or the cost of the solar panels goes down, or the cost of insulation goes down, or the cost of something goes down, and allows them to do it all of a sudden. In the future, the economics might work. And so they go try to tie up a whole bunch of stuff with these option contracts without really giving you any money. They give you a hope and a dream and a wish and a handshake and some paper and stuff. And it locks up your property. So you can't sell it. I mean, really, you can't. You can sell it with that contract attached to it, but you can't, you're not going to go like build a house right where they want to put their solar panels, and if they ever come along with the solar panels. So you kind of gut your property, right? If the thing doesn't happen and speculation doesn't work. Like, if you're the one owning the land or the natural resource, you've got time on your side for stuff to happen. Maybe the natural resource that's under your land, or the wind that crosses it, or the solar that hits it, becomes more economic someday with the technology getting better, the prices going down. Maybe some new infrastructure comes through, somebody else builds a pipeline or a power line or a whatever. All of a sudden your property becomes more economic. You want to be the one taking advantage of that, not somebody you optioned your property to, didn't pay you anything. And so that's my point of view. I'd rather just buy and sell the land again and again and again, let somebody else speculate on the prices going into their favor. That's the idea. I've got a neighbor who rents out space on top of commercial buildings to put solar panels on top, and then he talks to the tenants in the building to sell them electricity. There's a lot of angles at this, and I'm sure there's ways to make money out of it. That's just been my experience. So
it just seems too complicated unless you want to go down that road and be married for 30 years.
Exactly. Yep. So I've got San Luis Obispo County pulled up, trying to stay away from the flat stuff out in the back. And I was looking at So I looked at this a little bit earlier today because I wasn't sure if we could pull this off or not. Down in the southern, the southwestern corner, getting closer to, just closer to LA. The closer to LA you get, the more price. Santa Maria, I guess is the name of the town. But Nipomo and, I want to say Pismo Beach. From like Nipomo to Pismo Beach. Where's Pismo Beach?
Pismo Beach is near San Luis Obispo. It's about...
Here's Pismo Beach, yeah.
Minutes away.
Yeah, San Luis Obispo. Pismo Beach is like along the coast, just south of there on the 101. So between Nipomo and Pismo Beach, I was looking at the prices in here earlier. If we do that right now, it's... Well, this is a cheaper one than I saw before. I mean, this is... Where's this one? 100 grand for 40 acres, basically. 99 grand. No legal access. It's expensive. It's a lot of money. No legal access. It's crazy, right? Like, you probably can't even get a building permit because there's no access. You gotta like negotiate your way through there, and yeah, it's way up here in the mountains. I mean, for personal property to go live on, I'd probably tackle those kinds of challenges and dive in head first and slam it out, but I don't want to flip that kind of stuff. This is 160 acres. I was looking at this one earlier. This is up in the mountains too. No access. I think this ad's really funny though. Take a look at this one. Landlocked, 160 acres, no legal access. This means you cannot view except with a helicopter. Probably got really tired of people asking him how to go tour the property. Excuse me, guys. So $160,000 for 160. That's $1,000 an acre for the no access stuff. So if you could figure out access on that, you could probably bump up the value a good deal. The next one is $349,000 for 7 acres. I mean, this is way out there price wise, in my opinion. I mean, if we went through the county data, there might be some trades that happen in there that make more sense. Let's look at the Zillow recently sold. Here's recently sold. Let's see what cheapest. Oh, look at that. 100-acre lot for $2,000. There's no way that's real. That's just bad data. $20,000 for 40 acres. Maybe it's not as crazy as I was thinking. $123,000 for 10 acres. That's probably more like the real market. So there's one or two bad data numbers in here. It's maybe family trade or something, some circumstantial, something else was going on there. Like they assume the mortgage or something. It just skips up into the hundreds real quick. But if we zoom out, we look at more of this county. If we let's just keep looking at the sold stuff. There's some pockets in here that I think we could get away cheaper. I mean, here's the Morro Bay area. I was looking at that. 125 grand. Looks like crazy hillside stuff on the cheap end. But if we get over the hill, there's a Atascadero, Templeton, Paso Robles, White Gardens. This area in here, it starts happening more often. Here's 5 grand for 6 acres. This is over by whatever that lake is. Like Nicomento. 15 grand for 40 acres. Where's that? It's got a 600 square foot home. I don't know, had a tax assessment of like $250,000, but it sold for $15,000. I don't know if this is good data. 18 grand for 3.2 acres. They're saying it was tax assessed at 66,000, and they sold it for 18 grand. That's more my kind of market. Someone was willing to throw some properties out there. Gallegos Ranch, 20s. So it starts going up into the 20s pretty quick. But these are sold ones. They're not ones that are for sale. If we just switch over to ones that are for sale, the cheapest thing in that same area is 45 grand for a 10-acre lot. This is down south more, backside of Atascadero. $60. See, these cheaper ones are all the south and mostly west of Atascadero. They're not even that cheap. As the prices get into the hundreds, they start covering the whole valley area. They're 40 acres or 5 acres or 12 acres or 10 acres, and the size doesn't seem to matter so much. Like, it's the prices aren't this much per acre, they're this much per property. So I think we make offers that are, we don't really care so much about the acreage. You know, if 40 acre comes in, we do a dance. If 1 acre comes in and it looks good and it's got utilities or something, we do a dance. And we just take it from there. You still with us, Ben?
I'm with you.
Cool. You keeping up on some of the chat guys?
Yeah, some people going to sleep. But
yeah.
Shout out to Jamie Ross. Hot dogs, sign me up. Not. She's talking about how California is too expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. But selling land, like, in my experience, people show up and they pay cash for these California properties. Like, they pay cash, guys. I'm a land dealer. They pay cash. And the properties in Arizona and New Mexico and Nevada, and some people pay cash, but a lot more of them are asking for terms. They're asking for payments. And I do the payments, but I can't do all payments. I can't just keep doing payments on everybody's property. So these kinds of cash deals in California, I think, give me the cash infusions to be able to do payments on other properties. So in a way, it helps wherever you're shopping properties from us. It's all part of the same market or same pool of capital. It can grow the pool of capital and allow me to do more financing deals elsewhere as well. So it's all part of the game. These California ones.
Cash flip, yeah, cash flip market. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. So if you compare these prices to the prices north of here or south of here, along the coast, relatively close to the coast, this is really cheap. This is cheap compared to the others. So I think this area,
very smart. Yeah, very smart. How we're trying to focus on this land that's not too far, because San Luis Obispo is about 3 hours from where I'm from, San Jose, and a few hours from Santa Barbara.
Yeah, it's not
right there.
You're not going to commute it, but a lot of people they're working from home. They're telecommuting. They're getting more creative. They don't have to be in the office all the time. Maybe they go once a week or once a month or once less and less over time. For people to do that, I think they could reach out to these kinds of areas and go for it. So I keep zooming in, zooming out. I think what we need to do is figure out how to hit these areas. So I was thinking we use Book and Page. And so I think if we go into Agent Pro, and where we can click on different properties and we can see their APN numbers, we can figure out Book and Page. Book and Page, what I'm talking about, Book and Page, guys, for everyone that's scratching their head, is you have all these properties and they're generally recorded in a map, and the map has there's books of these maps at the local county, And so there's the book number, which book is this map in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the books go on into the hundreds. And then what page is the map on? And when you get to that page, then there's a whole bunch of different properties on that page. They're all next to each other, right? Because they're on the same map. And then they have a number on each one of those properties. And that's usually the third part of the APN number, being the assessor parcel number of the property. So the first number is usually the book. The second number is usually the page. The third number is usually what property it is on that page. And so that's a older fashioned way to locate a property. So if you have the APN number, you can go to the county and you can look up the book, you can look up the page, and you can look up the property. Now they're not usually in a book anymore, but they're still categorized that way. It's like going to the library and looking up the Dewey Decimal System. They're not on a card anymore. You look it up in the computer, right? So now when you look it up in the computer, you still have that same number kind of sequence. And if you know that, then you know how to reference a certain part of the county. Yeah. Because this...
I've seen you filter by the first subset or the second subset only, then you can get right in that area.
Yeah, and it's not always logical. Like the county might have been laid out like we read, from the north west to the northeast, and then back again northwest to northeast in the next row, and the next row, and the next row, going from north to south across the whole county. It might have started out that way, and then some entrepreneur came in and said, okay, I'm going to take this chunk of land, I'm going to cut it up into a bunch of smaller pieces, and excuse me, like whoever created this California Valley out here, that probably created a couple more books of properties in the county that don't fit in the old map of what that property used to be. So now you've got some new books over here, and then someone else made a neighborhood over there, and there's some new books over there. And so as time goes on, the books aren't all in order anymore, usually. So you got to figure out that, or kind of decipher that, if you will.
Okay, Griffin says California people have a lot of money because they pay taxes. They have marijuana money.
Marijuana money, yep, there you go. That's one way of doing it.
That's the new gold rush. The new gold rush.
The new gold rush. Yeah. I sold a bunch of properties to marijuana money guys. People that want to go build, grow. People that want to do it for health, or do it for money, or do it because they can all of a sudden, whatever. More power to them. I think the rules have been around for too long. I don't think it really hurts anybody. I mean, if they're using chemicals and they're going in the stream and that kind of stuff, that pisses me off. But I think they should be held to the same standards as other farmers. I mean, if you're putting chemicals all over your fields for whatever you're growing, you should get in trouble for that if it hurts the neighbors. So I'm in the northeast corner of this county, and the book is 011. So book 11, page 11, property number 6. And as we start going across, let's see. This thing's going kind of slow. It's all U.S. Forest Service, book 11. So I'm on the county line. Book 11. So it probably goes right across the county like that. Book 80 starts skipping up. Here's the northeastmost property in the county. Center for Natural Lands Management, book 17. So we had an 80 in the middle. That's probably closer to that subdivision that was created later on. But the major the land is basically going like that. So I'm not exactly sure if we can figure out how to get the areas we want, or how precise we want to get in here or not. So I think this Lake Necamento area is a little bit cheaper. I think there's probably HOAs going on in here. Yeah, there's a bunch of houses. There's some bigger properties along the roads. I think it was north of this lake that a bunch of them were in. Paso Robles.
Yeah, that's a good area. A lot of vineyards out there.
Yeah. A lot of horse properties too. There's nothing like being into horses to make you want to buy some land. Some book 20. So the other way of doing this is we can look at the map in here. We can put the book in here. So book 11. We can look at book 11. 309 records. It's all going up and down the coast right there. And if we go to the last part of it. Oh wow. Book 11 really covers a bunch of area. There's a whole bunch of mountainous stuff along the coast. So if we go back to Zillow and we look at that area, we could almost just do like different pricing tiers for each book. $3 acres, $100,000. It's way down here. This is mostly all government land in here where this book 11 is. It's bigger properties. I mean, if we probably go pull data on book 11, there's probably hardly any properties the kind of sizes we might want. Let's mess around with the data set while we're doing this. I keep forgetting to mention, guys, like I'm gonna give some land away. So if you're watching this show and you're like, hey, when does Luke give away free land? Because I like giving away land, right? It like inducts people into the land business or the land trade, and you get a piece of land that wasn't the one you're shopping for, but you get some land, you're like, now what do I do with it? I mean, you can homestead it, you can go make it happen, you can have Luke sell it for you, or you can go sell it yourself. Probably not going to get a realtor on the ones that I have because they're too small dollars, but there's still enough money to make it worth your time to go sell them.
Yep, you can farm it. Jamie Ross says she's a goat farmer.
There you go. You can goat farm just about anything.
Some people talking about earth bag homes.
Yeah.
Horses eat a lot.
Yeah, I like following the earth bag homes on My Little Homestead. That's my favorite earth bag home channel, YouTube, My Little Homestead. If you guys have never checked that one out, that's a fun one. It's a young family. It builds a different bedroom for each kid out of earth bags in Cochise County, Arizona.
Unfortunately, I wanted to ask you a question too, Luke. I know it might sound kind of silly, but I really don't even know what a homestead is. That's like claiming some land for yourself, right?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Like you can, I don't know how deep you want to be into this, but
nah, just a quick summary.
Yeah. I mean, it's going and setting up a place to grow your family. You know, have your animals raised. You know, go make it happen. I think the older times it was 40 acres and a mule. You go plow something, grow some crops to live off of. But the modern version of it.
They gave it to you. They gave it to you though, right? To expand the West, right?
Yeah, there was a bunch of them they gave away. But there's a lot of homesteads that people bought too. I mean, you used to put some work into it or improve it or whatever, and they'd give you the land. But now, I mean, you could take the house that you're living in, and you could get you could get it homesteaded. There's a form you usually fill out. This form, maybe your county has one, maybe not. Maybe you just got to buy one or find a free one online, and you fill it out. Excuse me, I'm still kind of weak in my voice. You fill out this form and you get it recorded at your local recorder's office, your county recorder's office, and you say, this is my homestead. And then if somebody comes along and they sue you and they want to take your money away, they want to take your house from you, and they have a hard time doing that when that house is homesteaded, when it's recorded with this paper that says it's homesteaded. It's especially if you're like low wage, low income, low stuff. They don't protect like your $2 million house. They protect the first, I don't know, it's different in different states. $40,000, for example, I think it is in California. So they basically make it so they can't take the $40,000 worth of your house. It's different. You got to look into your local rules and regulations on it, but you can really stick it to somebody if they're trying to sue you by going to, just file that homestead paperwork with your local recorder. Your recorder probably charges $15 or $20 or something for it. You can fill it out. You got to get it notarized and hand it in. Get it recorded. You homestead your property.
Does it have to be vacant land or
no?
It already has like a thing on it?
Yeah, it can be a house. I mean, read your local rules and regulations on it. There's articles and stuff out there too that'll tell you about what it'll protect and what it won't. Some people think they homestead their home and they're invincible, like people are never going to take anything from them. It's not like that anymore. It's watered down from that, but it still really helps you keep your home and pass it on to your kids, pass it on to your heirs. Like there's some benefits in there. I'm not an attorney, I don't fully understand it, but you can go look into that. Maybe someone in the chat knows more about homesteading their property. I mean, I think generally the term is used like I'm gonna go raise some food and some animals and that kind of stuff in a homestead, build a house and go live off of that thing. Look at this.
Anytime RVers says homestead equals being self-reliant.
Yeah, there you go. Hearst Holdings, a bunch of the land in this area. Like the Hearst Castle and those guys. They got a whole pile of properties up here. A lot of government land. Okay, let me get to vacant. So what I did is I just put the first three numbers, the book of the APNs that are in the northwesternmost part of this county. Like we're going to read through this county book by book. We're going to see what's in each book. And we're going to pick out the ones that we want to mail. Because I don't want to mail offers the whole county because there's this junk in the back that I don't want. So I'm trying to isolate it by just listing the books that I want. I just want vacant land, so I'm going to do improved. I'm going to do 0 to 1%. Add that to my criteria so we get vacant stuff. Let's do lot acreage. I'm going to do let's just do 1 acre right now to like 45 acres. So we get the 1 acres stuff. We probably cut out a lot of the cookie cutter neighborhoods, like the sub 1 acre stuff. There's probably still some 1 acre cookie cutters, but we'll get up to 40 acre properties if we do that. I can narrow it down more later, but it's just, I think, just like poking around the county, figuring out where land is, where there's a bunch of records. It's not all government land. Like this first one's basically all government land anyway. So let's see what happens to the count. It was like 400 or something. I forget the number. We'll run a couple of those things against it. We still got a whole bunch of state parks and recreation, and so we got to get rid of the use. We're down to 100 records. I mean, that cut out a lot of the properties because a lot of them are probably like sections. So if we did use code, county use or state use or state land use. Let's try state land use.
Jamie says her great-grandparents have kept her family farm through a homestead and trust.
There you go. So I wonder if it's recorded with the county as a homestead, or if she has any idea what I'm talking about. I'm not sure if it helps or not. If you got a mortgage on the property, if you can homestead it, maybe that becomes in second place. Or it tops the mortgage. I'm not sure. But I think if you homestead the property and you got a mortgage, the bank's still going to take it from you. I think it just makes more paperwork for them. Let's try state land use. I don't want vacant urban, vacant single family, vacant rural 80 plus. I'm not going to get that. Vacant rural 5 to 10. That sounds good. 40 to 80, 20 to 40, 2.5 to 5, 10 to 20. I'm going to skip the agricultural, income, industrial, unknown, triplex, trees, vines. You just get a bunch of weird rules about what you can and can't do on the property, and I end up calling everybody and their brother. It takes forever trying to figure them out. I just want some basic middle of the road vanilla stuff. Specialty horses. Specialty sit down single family. Single famo lot line. I don't know what that is. Single family residence 80 acre. Single family with second living unit. This sounds like stuff that's already built. Single family 40 to 80 acres. Septic school. So this gets rid of school and parks and state and all that kind of stuff. Residential, pipeline, peaches, parking lot, oranges, olives, oil stuff, office stuff, miscellaneous, mountain cabin. I like that, mountain cabin. Two different kinds of mountain cabin. Mountain mobile home, let's skip that. Mobile west. Bunch of different mobile home things. Mortuary. More mobile home. I think if we're going to do mobile home, I'm going to target mobile homes. I'm going to price it differently.
Anytime RVer says to buy and sell land all the time, do you have to be a realtor? And I'm a newbie, but I know the answer is no.
Yeah, you don't have to be a realtor. Landlocked. They got a code for landlocked. I mean, so this is for sale by owner, right? If I was representing someone else's properties that I didn't have a vested interest in, then it's a different case scenario. Like you start running into realtor rules and regulations and everything else. But if you got a vested interest in the property, like you paid for part of it, or you own part of it, or you got a contract on some of it, setting the price, that kind of stuff, you can go do for sale by owner.
That's what you do all day.
Yeah, a lot of people. I'm nothing new. I mean, maybe I'm a little new because I put it live on YouTube while we're doing this. But for the most part, I mean, people have been doing those kinds of deals for longer than I've been around. Longer than America's been around. People have been buying, selling land, splitting land, developing land. Go back to Chinese times, or, you know, it's an old trade. There's nothing new about it. And we're using databases and stuff. I guess that's new. Used to ride the horse around and survey stuff. So that whole book, I narrow it down so much there's nothing left. So state land use, I mean, it was all government stuff, right? But mountain cabin, mountain single family residence, single family vacant, rural, bunch of vacant. So rural vacant or single family residence, like any of these things that are set up for a cabin or a home that don't have one already. And I'm coming back with zip 0 zilch. So let's get rid of the assessor parcel number. Let's see what the whole county is. Not that I want to get the data for the whole county, but let's see what the greater pool is that we're shopping in. And I might be totally screwed because this says 64 records. So I'm definitely doing something wrong here. Getting way too restrictive. Yeah, 64 records. That's not okay. I'm doing something wrong. Let's get rid of the improved percent and see what happens. Maybe that's not working over here in this county. I'm gonna guess that it has something to do with the state or the county state use codes. Maybe we'll switch to county 112. That's still not working. So I don't think it had so much to do with the percent. So let's put the percent back in there and let's go change from state land use to county. So we're just playing with this database, seeing how it works, right? We can't really tell what kind of data is there until we buy it. So we're messing around with the user interface before we buy it and see if we can figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, anytime RVer says, would you accept gold or silver for payment or down payment?
Yeah, why not? I mean, gold, silver, that's awesome. I guys just ship it. The what?
I'm gonna look at you because I feel like I wouldn't, because it's kind of. I mean, I know it has value, but
why not? What's the difference? Too hard to deal with it?
I mean, I guess you could keep it, but like you measure it like $1,000 per pound or whatever, and then you whatever you think the right value for the land would be. Just give me the bars of gold.
Yeah, I mean, I got a scale in my office. I mean, I don't like. Excuse me. I don't like chew on it, and I'm not that. I don't have my electric. And the guys that know better have a little thing you can see how fast or slow the electricity goes through there, and you can make calculations off of that. Or there's software and little gizmos that do calculations off of that to see what the purity is. That resistivity, I think you call it. How well or how good or bad the electricity goes through there, and the weight. So with a couple of things like that, I mean, you can get a pretty good idea of what you're getting into. I mean, easier, just take it to your local coin shop and have them check it out. I mean, they'll check it out without even buying it from you. They'll give you their opinion. You just, hey, can I get a quote on this? And they look at it and they weigh it. They do their stuff, and it's like, okay, it looks like the real deal. Just run with it.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my wedding ring for 10 acres.
Yeah, I don't know how to price a wedding ring, but if you send me like, some Cougarans or some silver bars or something, that's easier to price. It's a lot easier. But wedding ring, I mean, I'm not a jeweler. I'd probably still go to a pawn shop or something, see what kind of quotes they give me. But like, why can't you do that? Like, if you got a ring or something, why don't you just take it to your local pawn shop and send me some money? You got like child support coming after you or something? Like, just
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do county land use instead of state land use and see if I get something else vacant. This kind of looks like the same list though. I swear I did state before. Do you remember if I did state or county? This looks different. This specialty horses, it says some of the same stuff in there though. Here, let me look at state. I'm losing my mind. They don't usually have both, like state land and county in these things. I'm surprised.
Okay, an ounce of gold right now is $1,296.10.
Yeah, it's about what it was when I left the brokerage house. It went down a bunch, went up a little bit, went down. It's been treading water the last couple of years. It went up to 1900, I think it was. 19 and change.
Getting there.
It was at 1900 for like a day. I used to work for Sprott. I mean, if you look up Sprott, we sold so much gold. They've got a huge gold fund. They borrow out Central Fund of Canada. Their gold and silver supply. I mean, Sprott was soaking up more silver in the markets than most anybody, putting it into securitizing it and putting it on the markets. I did a bunch of those financings. I mean, I was a small fish in a big pool, big pond. I was still involved in them. It was fun. So I gotta figure.
Now you're a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah, I don't know. So I gotta go through this list. Let me try it again. Like, let me pull the data before I start messing with the use codes. See how many numbers we get. Maybe it's broken before I pull the numbers. No, it's spinning its wheels now. 14,000. I think a lot of those records are that one little area way back southeast corner of the county. 14,000 records. That's ridiculous. That's a lot. And I got 1 through 45 acres and improved 0 through 1. So I got to do some kind of land use code. Here's land use that's not state or county. Let's try this one. I'm going to go through one by one.
Off-grid in Arizona wants to hike Mount Blanca.
Is that in Texas? Or am I thinking Mount Blanca? Is that Colorado? I don't know.
Okay.
Where is it?
I think it is Colorado.
Southern Colorado?
Silver is about 16.5 for silver.
Yeah. We get up into the 40s, 50s, 40s, I think. When it topped out.
Yeah, and some people might speculate, if a crash is coming soon, since we've been up for a while, that, gold and silver will go up during down market.
I hope so. It didn't do that well in 2008. People needed it to pay their bills. You could say it went up in relation to everything else because everything else went down. That's what gold's supposed to do. It's supposed to hold its own. I think it's done a really good job of that over time. I think if it just does that, you're pretty awesome. If it goes up in the meantime as dollar keeps degrading over the long run, that's the other thing it's supposed to do. Offset the degrade of the dollar. Like if you went and you charted gold and dollar against each other over the last 100 years, gold's up what, 90, 93, 95, 98, better than 90% over the last 100 years. 100 years isn't that long in history timelines. For your timeline, my timeline, it's a long time, but You know, that same
But
trajectory keeps happening.
the dollar has decreased over that time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The buying power.
5% of what it was 100 years ago or something. Ranch. I don't think people understand that. I mean, a lot of other countries have lost their value a lot faster, a lot more than the dollar. I'm not saying just hold the dollar. Land is a different kind of asset.
Not as volatile.
Gold, land, silver, I think those are a bunch of good assets. Natural resources, I think natural resource projects that are out of favor, out of price, you know, marginal projects that might work better on with more technology, I think that's sweet play too. We got natural resource projects in here. Just reading through a whole bunch of different uses here. Kind of scratching my head because this is land use. It's not county land use or state land use. This is land use. We'll see if this one works.
Denise Cox wants something in northern New Mexico or Durango, Colorado.
Yeah, there you go. I just put a couple up in Cibola County, New Mexico. That might not be north enough. That's northwestern New Mexico. He's probably looking northern more. San Juan County or something. Or whatever's in the middle. I can't think of what county's in the middle there. Forest fishery, field and seed. What is field and seed?
Finding a new garden.
I guess maybe hay fields or, you know, stuff you could sow, mow, or plow and seed. It's all flat and ready to go. Desert. Excuse me, sorry guys. County property. Commercial cabin. Here's cabin, we'll do that. Barren land, bar, avocado grove, art, apparel, animal. I don't think this is avocado country up here, but I might be wrong.
But it means that there is at least one record in that county, right?
It might just be from the database for the whole state. It might be just state stuff, because this database works for the whole state. It might be the whole country. I doubt they put the whole country in there for everyone though. So let's take a look at this land use, this new land use thing, and it's not going to be 14,000. It should be some subset of that. 9,000. Now we're talking. Okay, so I think I got the land use figured out more, but I still see City of San Luis Obispo in there. Bishop Harry A. Clinch Endowment Fund. Dunes Valley View. Planned Homeowners Association. There's not very many just like names on here. The Oaks Hotel, Paso Robles. Just look at some more of these. These are more names. Wonder if we cut off the really low taxes, that'd get rid of the city, because the city's probably not paying taxes, and the church probably doesn't pay much tax either. So let's narrow it down a little bit more before we start playing and narrowing down APNs. So let's do tax, property.
Redefine living. We're talking about Durango, Colorado. She tried to get a job shoveling coal.
That's where Mount Blanca is.
Train when she was younger.
Is that the same one where it's talking about Mount Blanca?
Yeah, I guess that was that area.
So I'm going to add $5 property tax and up to the criteria list. We'll see if that gets rid of the city. I mailed off offers to cities and governments and stuff. They get back to you with all this super proper answer. Excuse me, sir, did you really mean to make an offer on our drainage ditch next to the water processing plant? It's like, we went to the board and we had a 4-hour meeting about your offer or whatever. It's like, really?
Yeah, that happened for real, right? I mean, I think I remember that story.
I've had lots of stories like that. People get really serious about these cash offers. They get back to me after lots of going back and forth, I can't say the word. Checking with their attorney and their family members and neighbors and checking everything out before they call me. And it's like, man, your land's too ugly. I'm not going to buy that. Or whatever. Yeah, I think we got rid of the $5 minimum tax per year trick got rid of the city. The city's probably not paying any tax on that land, so that got them out of there. It dropped it down to 8,000 something instead of 9,000 something. Okay, so I'm going to save this search, and then I want to start goofing around with APNs. So that first APN we tried, 011, let's add that one in there first. Just test it. So this should take it down to like 100 or something, if that. Nine records. Hearst Holdings, State of California, 1 trust, 2 trusts, 2 companies. Not even worth putting it on the list. Okay, so this Lake Nicimomo area, Nicimento, you guys are going to make fun of my presentation, I'm sure. I gotta log back in. Yeah, deliberation. Beaver cat production, he got the word. It was at the tip of my tongue.
Anytime RVers want some land where they can shoot their guns without worrying about neighbors.
Where's he? Is he talking about Arizona? New Mexico? Or?
Yeah, what are you talking about, anytime?
A lot of people ask me that.
How many guns do you?
I grew up in northern Michigan, right? Even southern Michigan, I went back and forth. And so people talk about shooting guns. My definition of shooting guns is like, you walk out on the porch and you shoot your guns. Neighbors or no neighbors. Like, what are they going to do about it? That's where I grew up. But California people get all pissy about it. I mean, they're like, oh, you're going to
I'm from California. I'm from California, so it's like if you have a gun, then you're, you know, kind of a criminal or something or a gang member.
Yeah.
But now that I live in the Midwest, now. I live in Missouri, and it's like everybody has guns. They sleep with their guns next to them, and everybody has multiple guns, and you can carry it, you know, in public. So it's kind of a adjustment for me.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, right? It's just totally different. So here's 80. I should do this on the screen somehow, but I didn't plan ahead. I'm using a piece of paper. I'm kind of drawing a map of the county, just like cartoonish map of the county, and I'm putting some APN numbers, you know, just the books. So over here around this lake, I mean, there might be some neat land around here. It seemed like there's some cheaper properties, but I think it's more HOA stuff going on around this lake. But there might be some non-HOAs mixed in there too. So this starts in 80. This looks like super HOA. If we click into here, like if we get down to these little lots and stuff. Oh, these are 12s. Let's see if any of the 12s come up in there. Just work our way through.
Ron says they don't like guns here in my condo.
Yeah, they probably don't want them in your condo. I mean,
you're gonna get an HOA letter.
Yeah, get the HOA letter. Your guns are too loud. No, I think you probably get the sheriff showing up. 39 records. Heritage Ranch. So there was one that was 80. Oh, man. Here. I want to get my search. I don't want to lose my search. I think we're going to end up with a laundry list of APN books to put in here. So 12. Let's try 80.
Doing one by one.
Yeah, I'll play around with some, 15 records.
Lonely Prepper Homestead says here you're considered odd if you don't have a gun.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Lonely?
Where's that one? I think he's in Arizona. No. I remember talking to him in the past. I don't remember. Maybe Arkansas or something. I don't remember. So I'm not going to guess. I talked to a lot of people. 027. Yeah, I mean, the town I grew up in as a kid, yeah, you're weird if you don't have a gun. We had hunter safety courses going on at school. They teach you how to use a gun from when you're pretty young. You can start doing gun hunting for deer at, I think gun hunting for animals, like small game and stuff, was 12 years old. And then for deer, I think it was 14. You could gun deer. I mean, 12 years old, you could use shotgun, 22, and that kind of stuff legally to go hunt state land. I mean, you could do it younger than that on your own land, but for state land, I think you had to be 12 and then 14. Imagine that in California, if you're running around state land at like 12 years old, shooting rabbits or something. Probably wouldn't go over that well. There's a bunch of properties in these books. These are all up towards the north end of the county. Maybe what we should be doing is trying to get everything but this summer, whatever this thing's called, California Valley 82. The data doesn't work so well to do everything but. So these are all 82s down here. 84. 84.
Jamie learned how to shoot at 11.
Yeah, why not? I don't even know how old I was when I learned how to shoot. I don't even remember.
I've only shot a gun twice at gun ranges.
I usually shoot it in nature or on private land or something. Not gun ranges, or gun range only. 2 times only, and they're both at gun ranges.
Yeah, gun range only. I've never been hunting.
Oh, okay.
Or anything like that.
Yeah, I shot just about everything that moved in Michigan, except for maybe black bear and bald eagle. You name it. Cars, neighbors, my sister. It gets old after a while. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. I still have fun shooting guns. There's a shooting range by not too far from my house called Iron Sights. Guy traded a AK-47 for some land. It's a nice one too. It's like Colt Action, Police Edition, beautiful looking gun. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll take that for whatever the land was. And so I tried to get it shipped to the shooting range by my house. They said, you're crazy. This is California. You can't have the Police Edition, semi-automatic, whatever, rifle in California. Like, okay, Michigan's cool. You got it shipped to Michigan. So I got one waiting for me in Michigan. That'll be fun. Can't wait to shoot that gun. Next time I'm in Michigan, I'll go shoot something. I don't know. Find something to shoot. I had a good friend, Jake Krozak's a kid, and you look up his dad. His dad was, oh man, his dad was a gun collector. He was a serious gun collector, and he had this awesome collection in his barn. And he made a trap door in the basement of the barn. He put in like a false floor, so you could like go into the basement, and it was like a bomb shelter. And it was just rows, racks of guns, assault rifles, shotguns, regular long-range rifles, deer rifles, sniper rifles. I mean, like the whole gamut, right? And so it was fun to go over to Jake's house and shoot all kinds of stuff. He had half dozen old beater cars out behind the house, and you could go shoot the cars. And like shooting, there's nothing more fun than shooting cars, right? Like taking different guns and see if you can hold on to them, shoot through the block, shoot through from the front of the car to the back of the car and see if it comes out again, or from the back to the front, or corner to corner, or indoor one door out the other door, at what range. Just keep trying different things. There's no glass left. I mean, the glass is the first stuff to get shot out. But that was fun. So we were in school one day, and it was all over the news. Jake Krozak's dad, he was growing pot all over the place, and the helicopters came through, and I don't know if they're just passing over or they're checking out his plants, but he decides he's going to take some shots at them. And that wasn't a good idea. The whole town turned into like SWAT, FBI, crazy land, and they stormed his place, and he held them off for like a day. And just like a holdout, Jake couldn't go home. His brother, I forget his brother's name. His brother was a couple years older. They couldn't go home. They couldn't go in there. And, we didn't see them for a couple months. Everyone kind of disappeared. He ended up going to jail. The dad did. And, like, the gun cache was all over the news. And the marijuana haul, taking out all his plants. And I don't think he hurt anybody, but it was a big scare. He shot the helicopter,
It's a pretty good story.
Yeah, but that was the best gun collection. That was awesome. Like pistols, 44s. You could, those are fun guns. Like solid, just a solid slam, hold on to it as a kid.
Ron asked, do you have any land in Arkansas? I mean, yeah. Is it Alaska? What is AK?
AR is Arkansas, AK is Alaska. I don't have any Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska.
Alaska's pretty expensive. I mean, we're looking at expensive land talking about. It's not though. You'd be surprised how expensive a lot of that Alaska land is. I don't have any Alaska land.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Like, how come no one does that? But because it's probably just too expensive and far out there.
The data's not very good either. A couple of the southern, they don't call them counties. They call them, it's not parishes. It's kind of like a county, but the state does a lot more of the work than the county level. Like, you get things recorded and you do a lot of your paperwork to transfer land and stuff at the state level, not the county level. So California, most all these other states we're talking about, you do it at the county level. Hawaii, you do it at the state level. Alaska, you do it at the state level. I think maybe not all the areas, but some of them you do at the state level. Some you do at the local level. So Alaska's a little different. I don't totally know the rules and regulations, so I haven't tackled it. I haven't taken it on. But the Panhandle stuff, I mean, there's more data there, like around Anchorage and down the handle along the coast. A lot of it's government land too. So I'm not doing a very good job of mapping this county out and figuring out what the logic is so far. There's a bunch of 43s. Let's take a look at that. I think a better way to do this is maybe focus on the area I'm thinking of instead of the whole county, and trying to figure out the books there, and then doing like this beginning of the book, ending of the book kinds of views. So this book 43, this kind of looks like it's going to be Creston area. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of them right around Creston.
Off-grid in Arizona asked, have you ever bought land in Canada or any other country besides U.S.?
No, I haven't. I don't know the process. Like, I think I got a little bit of a competitive advantage in America because I understand the process of buying and selling land and transferring title and understanding title. It's probably easier in other places, but I just don't know the process. Like, I don't know who signs and what paperwork goes where and who to talk to, who to ask questions, where to get the data. Like, I don't have the data. I'd have to go figure it all out, and so it'd be like starting over in some regard. Something about this Atascadero area is calling me. That up to Paso Robles, I think it's higher prices up here. But, I mean, even off to the side here. So let's try. Atascadero. There's a skunk outside. Walking around here somewhere. I can smell him really hardcore. It's evening time. He's probably going to check out my chickens. So if the chickens go crazy here, I don't know if I should run out there and take on the skunk or not. I had a possum the other day. Got into the chicken coop. The chickens were screaming bloody murder. It was dark out. And my wife was saying, you know, something's wrong with the chickens. Go check on them. Like, okay. So I went out, like, using the light on my phone. Yep, there's a possum in the chicken coop. And the chickens all got away from them, but they're, like, trapped in the fence and stuff, trying to run through everything in the dark. They can't tell where they are. They're really stupid in the dark. And it's like, what do I do with the possum? He's just going to come back, right? And so I trapped him into one part of the chicken coop, and I went and got the nail gun out of the garage. And so the guy was saying you can't have the gun in the condo, or people don't like guns in condo. Nail gun's pretty quiet and does the same job, right? At close range. Just hold a nail gun up to his head. That's the end of that possum. Got him out with a pitchfork. He was like all tied and curled in there. But I don't want him to take out my chickens. Okay. So let's just keep clicking around and see what other ones I find. We're gonna get more precise. So I got 43. This 43 over here I think is good. We'll just keep going across. 34. Let's try 34. There's a bunch of horse country. This is by Templeton. Ends up by, so there's a whole bunch of it from here to there. That's a big chunk of it. So 34 looks good. 34, 43, 28. Let's try 28. I think we're going to be hitting numbers for a while here. This just looks like housing row.
Redefine Living said you really nailed that possum.
Yeah, nailed him. I don't know if I have the nerve to do that to a skunk. Like, the skunks, I'm gonna get sprayed. What would you guys do if there's a skunk in your chicken coop? If the skunk breaks in, like, what do? Do you try to get the chickens out of there and just wait till morning, or spray him with a hose, or blanket him? Or I've always heard the skunk, if he can't lift his tail, he can't spray you. I really doubt that, but I could try. One way to find out. Put a towel over him, hold his tail down, and throw him in a neighbor's yard. I don't know. 028. Should try to get that on camera, right? Luke Smith grabbing the skunk.
I think a nail gun will be the best option.
Nail gun? Nail gun on the skunk? How do you get close enough without getting sprayed? You get him through the wall? I mean, that's what I did with the possum. I just looked at where his head was up against the wall, and it's like, okay, it's right about there. I put the nail gun up against the wall. I just went right through the wall and got him.
Oh, right through?
Yeah. You can tell it got him because he starts dripping. Okay, so 28. These are all 28. 30. Let's try 30. There's probably like a 29 in here somewhere too. This is getting into town stuff. It's probably all town.
Thank you everybody for sticking with us on this late night.
Yeah, I hope I don't.
Luke is gonna give away some land, right? We have to take this.
If I don't get blasted by a skunk. He's really strong smelling right now. Okay, so 30. Let's see what else is around here. 31. Yeah, I'll give away some land. We're gonna try to come up with a whole bunch of numbers in this area. I should come up with more of a systematic way to come roll through these numbers.
Chuck said he would put a hefty garbage bag over a skunk and get it. And Charles said paintball gun.
Paintball gun, there you go. Yeah. So usually the skunks just like go dig in my garden and like look for chicken food scraps or something. They don't usually go into the coop or try to get into the coop or try to eat the chickens. But I've heard of skunks doing it. I've heard of them trying to grab them through the holes and chewing off a head or something. But I've never seen it happen. So maybe I don't have the aggressive skunks around. I don't know. Tascadero Lake. That looks like a whole lot of algae right there. 31. I mean, this whole 31 looks like town stuff too. Yeah.
Would you target those at a higher price? I mean, it's against the lake. It's a subdivision type thing.
Kind of the reason I was thinking about this is like horse properties, a couple acres, not a quarter acre, super small towny lot. I don't know. I just feel like I'm better at telling that story and making that delivery than the super builder lot in town. I mean, these look like, something's going on. They got a bunch of fencing. There's a house. They run a horse around the circle. I don't see any round pens or anything, but here you go. Here's a horse property. Like, look at this. They got round pen. I mean, they got a dressage arena. They got their barn. They got the rounded one and they got the square one. This is total horse operation. You can see their, whatever size this is, couple acres, like those kinds of things. People love horses, buy these size properties. I can tell that story all day. I want a flat place for my arena. There you go. Like those kinds of properties. So this is 033. Let's try 34. Some more horse properties. You could convert some fields into horse properties. Where are we at? We're getting closer to Paso Robles. This is Templeton area. This is 34. Let's just make sure it doesn't go out into the crazy deserts. Tascadero. So this is like, this whole area, 34. Oh, I already did 34. I did 34 twice. So I never did 29, 27, 29. We looked at 27 before. 27 was further north. What's 029? So if I just keep going out on either side of these numbers, we'll see if we can expand this out. So this is 29 is town stuff. Bunch of little buggers in town. So 29. I'm going to skip 29. So 28, 43. So it goes up to 43. So let's keep going. 34. Let's try 35. This looks like what we're looking for. It's Paso Robles. This looks like perfect. This is kind of properties I like. Like I don't think you're gonna shoot guns on that property, but I mean BB gun, pellet gun, that kind of stuff, sure, but not a 30-06 or 9mm pistol or something. Neighbors are gonna get mad. But I think you can have some animals. You can have your goats, you can have your chickens, you can have your horses. So there's no 36. See if 37 comes up. 37, this looks like weird stuff. We're getting further out there. This is weird country. This is getting out into the cheaper stuff. So let's scratch 37. I kind of think we didn't get much of anything west of town. Like the whole western side's kind of missing. We kind of got the eastern side. What the heck is this? Okay. 38, we started back over. So we worked our way out to the end of the county, and now we're starting back like you're reading a book, right? Okay, so not 38. Let's go back to town, see if we can pick up the trail on what's on the western side of town. Like what's over here? 026. So let's do 026, see if we get that spread. Okay, so this is like the northwestern part, corner Paso Robles area. So 26, I like this one. I think we get to 26. Let's try 27. See if it works our way across. Then we'll have to start over again. Starting north. This is a ways north. Some nice looking properties in here. I don't want the ones right by the freeway, but let's see. And then getting up in the mountains. This is kind of a weird one. I think we should skip this one. This is 27. Let's try 28.
So when using Title Pro, you are looking up and able to view things better in here, but you'll actually pull the data in RealQuest. Is that correct?
Yeah, they have different uses. Like, you can see a map really easily here of what the APN numbers are. But when you go to pull, if you try to pull the data out of here, the data is not as, in my experience, not as depth. It doesn't have the depth and breadth that RealQuest has.
So when you signed up for the tools, I'm new Land Academy and RealQuest and all that, they have a link there that takes you to it. But when you sign up, is there like a code that you put in so they know that you're part of the Land Academy to get the discount?
You get like a username and password, and then when you log in the first time, you change the password. I think that's how it works.
But if you click it from the dashboard, then it'll already know that you're a member.
I think so. I don't really do it from the dashboard, but yeah. I just have it saved because I did it so long ago. It's 29. We've already looked up 29.
Anytime our viewers said, you really give away land for free? Wow, that's so cool. Yep, Luke gives away land. I've seen him do it many times already.
Yeah, I'm getting better at doing the paperwork faster too. So it's happening a lot faster.
And you're still doing the Arkansas?
Yeah, for now. Giving away these Arkansas properties. A lot of them are like 1 acre, 3/4 of an acre. Usually a paved road and a power line, but not always. Like trees, shallow water tables, not swamp, hopefully. But some of them are like next to lakes or a block away from a lake or a lot away from the lake or streams. And properties I think could be pretty easy to resell, because that's the point. I want to go resell them for you if you let me. And I'll charge you 50% of the profits on the thing, so I'll give you all the money back that it cost me to buy it for you, and then half the money above that to whatever I sell it for. And maybe I'll lure somebody in to go buy 5, 10, a couple hundred of them, whatever, with me, and keep doing the same thing over and over. I just need one person that sees the numbers of what I'm showing them by doing that, and runs with it, and I'll be totally happy. So here's a 50. I think I've got more than one out of it already, so it's a totally positive return for me giving away land. And I think I want to keep giving the land away over time, but better and better properties as I can afford to, and I'm more comfortable at doing that. And I think it'll snowball. As you give away better land, I think more people will show up, um, more people will want to invest in those kinds of deals, and they just see the money that can be made and the lives that can be changed. It's a beautiful thing when somebody gets a piece of property and they can get away from their mortgage, they can get away from their rent, they can get away from all kinds of stuff. And yeah, there's a whole lot of work coming up for them, but they can go build their own place if they got the passion and they got the desire and they got the, the spirit to go do it. I mean, that there's nothing more beautiful than that. That's what America was built on. That's what it's all about. Like, just go make it happen. Go build it into something. Go sell it. Go do it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Or leave it to your kids. Leave it to your grandkids. Whatever. Just go put it together however you want it to be done. Stop complaining about how everyone else did it. And just go do it on your own. Maybe you hire bits and pieces of it out. Maybe you YouTube the whole thing and people pay you along the way or sponsor you. And maybe you don't even pay for the stuff. I mean, one guy's just shopping some land. He's got like 3 or 4 semi-truck loads of supplies he's been collecting off of Craigslist, getting ready to buy the piece of property. He's been collecting boards and roofing and wire and flooring and windows and doors and you name it, all kinds of stuff. He's basically getting it for free off of Craigslist, just picking it up, running around town, keeping his eye out. He wants to buy some property and move all his stuff there and build a house with it. He's going to have 5 houses probably with all the stuff he has collected. I like this neighborhood. Look at all these trees. Good sized looking lots and trees. So that's 50s. Yeah, if you guys circle back someday and you send me a picture of whatever you build or your story of how it changed your life or your kids' lives, that would be cool. That makes me happy. I'll just keep giving land away. These are all 50s. 54. Let's try 54. Well, let's try 51. 51. Let's work our way up to 54. So where are we? I like this area. It's a little hillier. It's green hills, not the brown ones in the back. Look at that. There's a bunch of roads and this looks like my kind of stuff. What's that? 51.
Jamie called you her land daddy.
Land Daddy. There we go. I like that title. I might steal that. Land Daddy.
The Land Daddy.
Yeah. Excuse me. Give land to my kids. They're like, what do I get for my birthday? You get some land. Oh, I don't think they like me. $52. But yeah, I think it's a cool thing to give kids land. I mean, I don't think they understand it yet, but I think it's cool to put it in their own company too. So if I can teach them how to run their own company, the ins and outs of running a company and like expenses going in that company and keeping track of the books, and hey, you want to buy something, you want to build something, you want to create something, you want to do something, can your company afford to pay for it? Like, I'm not talking about allowance, I'm talking about your company. You want some more money, that company should be more profitable. What should it be buying? What should it be selling? What should it be doing? What kind of deals could that company get into to grow that thing so you could pay for that whatever it is you want to buy or do? Like, that's what America's all about too. I think a lot of people miss that and focus in on allowance. Like, how do I give the kid allowance, or how do I hire him to do dishes or put him to work and stuff? I mean, like, I don't think that work for money thing is really my passion. I think it's using your intellect to create capital is much more my passion, not trading time for money. Like, I just don't want to teach my kids to trade time for money. I mean, yeah, everyone says go get a job and everything else, but I just don't have my heart in it. I think they're smarter than that. I think we're all smarter than that. If we're taught the right way and we believe in that kind of thing, there's all kinds of businesses and angles that we can create to bring a lot more wealth and change to the world than just trading our time for money. You create something that you can resell again and again and again. It's like writing a book and reselling copies of that instead of telling your story one-on-one and charging people to listen to your story. Writing a song and putting it all over the place, getting it in front of millions of people. It's a lot more, it spreads a lot more. It's about like these YouTube videos. I create these YouTube videos. People can watch these things years later, and they do. I mean, I've got videos, hundreds of videos that go back a ways, and they talk about all kinds of land stuff. You can learn a lot from them, and it's not me on the phone telling somebody new all the time. You can get a lot of this information by watching the old videos, not just my videos, a lot of other people's videos. I think it's a lot more efficient use of time to record stuff and put it out there. I like to watch a lot of other people's information and things that they've put out there, and some people like to watch mine. I look at some of the statistics. I'm not sure exactly what the statistics are on my YouTube channel right now, but in the past I was doing the math, and it was like 9 days worth of video was watched today on my YouTube channel. It's like, wow, there's no way I can get in front of that many people without using a tool like YouTube. So I think it's an amazing thing. And some of these people get back to me and they're like, I watched all your videos. I about fall on my chair. I don't know how you can go watch all my videos. That takes a lot of time. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful, but it's head scratching at the same time. I think that's a way of using your mind instead of trading time for money. They can get a lot more sales done. You get a lot more trust built. You create a lot more friends, a lot more connections by YouTubing it up instead of just talking to people on the phone all the time. There's some good sized lots in here. So pools, fancy houses. So 54. Let's see what 55 is. I think 55 should be on the list too.
Tika says, I never bought land before, but would love to. Anytime RVer says, when you sell land for cash, do you ever allow a person to do a payment plan, or is it strictly cash? You do both, right?
Yeah, I do both. I do lots of payment plans, lots of cash. Gold, silver.
Cash, right?
Yeah. Gold, silver, guns, cash, payments, whatever. Mining equipment. Bulldozer. I'd like a bulldozer. Boats, trucks, cars. I'm pretty agnostic. I don't want drugs. I don't want to deal. I've got those offers. I don't want to do that. 56 is town. Let's try 57. 57 doesn't work. 58. 58, 59. We might have found the end of the run here. Yeah, 59.
Would you take art or crypto?
Yeah, cryptocurrency. I ran a sale. I had one guy take me up on it. Was it around Christmas time? I said, okay, I'm going to start taking the cryptocurrencies in January. I did in January. I said, I have to go back and watch it. I don't remember. It was 5 or 10% off. I think it was 5% off. if someone pays with cryptocurrencies for the month of January. So I'm not doing the discount on it anymore, but cryptocurrencies, why not? Like, the beautiful thing about cryptocurrencies as a land dealer is there's no transaction costs. So the credit card companies, I sell a lot of land on a credit card, right? A lot of people charge stuff up the credit card, 5, 10, 20, 30, $30,000 credit card transactions for a piece of land. I mean, they usually charge me like 3%. The fees start going ballistic on those things. Someone sticks an American Express in there with a big dollar land transaction. I mean, I might pay $1,000 for credit card fees. It's just stupid amounts of money, the credit card fees. So the cryptocurrencies, there's no fees on it. I mean, the volatility, there's volatility as they bounce around. If you really wanted to, you could get one of those settings where the person pays in the cryptocurrency and they automatically gets converted over to whatever currency you want it in, like US dollars. And that gets rid of the volatility of the cryptocurrency bouncing around, but I don't think they bounce around really that much normally. And you can decide when you want to sell it, trade it into dollars or trade it into something else. 59s. So I got 59s. Let's do 60. The thing that I think makes it really hard for people using cryptocurrencies as a currency to buy stuff across the internet, I mean, you get anonymity, but I don't think a lot of people talk about the chargeback ability. So with a credit card and debit card, if somebody like me that you buy land from rips you off, not saying I do, but somebody does, you buy a sweater off of eBay or something and the person doesn't deliver it, or you order the orange one, they send you a blue one and you don't like blue, you want it orange, and they won't give you your money back, and they're just being jerks about it. You can call their credit card company and say, the guy sent me the wrong color and you won't take it back, give him my money back. The credit card company will give the middle finger to that seller. They'll take the money back right quick and give it to you like the same day, basically. They might ask questions, have you do paperwork and blah, 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 blah. But you get your money back, right? Cryptocurrency, something goes wrong, you buy whatever you buy, like, tough luck, dude. You're not getting your money back. It doesn't work. Not that I know of. I don't think there's any way you can do it. It doesn't come back. Once it's sent, it's sent. So that's really nice as a seller when you're selling stuff. People can't take the money back for complaining about something, whether it's true or not. But I think it makes it really hard as a consumer to use that over time. Like, you got to be really confident in what you're buying and what you're doing with that money. 61. This is not working. This is over on the coast. Okay, so let's go back and keep looking in that area. I got a list of numbers around the area that we should type in, but let's just see if there's any others. Like over in here, maybe 40. Did I get 40? I didn't get 40. I got 43. So let's try. How far up did I go on the third? I got 37. I don't think I did 38, so let's try 38 counting up. Let's see if that does a pass right through the middle. 38 doesn't work. 39.
Anytime RVer says, are all your listings under ruralvacantland.com?
Yeah. But I wholesale them off too, right? So a lot of them I sell and they don't ever get up. Yeah. So like, let's say you really want some land in Atascadero, in Paso Robles, and you're watching this video and you're like, holy hell, Luke's going to buy the cheapest land in the area. And he's going to buy it because I know it's Luke. He's going to buy it. And I'll probably be happy to pay like double what Luke's buying that stuff at. And I'll still have the cheapest stuff in the market. Let him do all the work and things. I mean, people watch these videos and they give me a call and they say, Luke, you're going to buy it. Give me that land. Give me the land. I got the money. I'm ready to go. Don't tell anybody about it. And all I have to do is just pick up the phone and get paid, right? So it doesn't even go on the website. So you miss a lot of deals that way, guys. But I'm not going to argue with a buyer like that.
So but all the land that you post online is super cheap. It's like usually half of the market, right?
Yeah, usually. I mean, half the market, but I mean, I'm probably running the market because I bought a whole bunch of them in that area. So half the market, what it used to be before I started selling land there, if that makes sense. And I'll put my land out there, and then other people will start dropping their prices to try to compete with me.
Yeah, you're killing everybody else.
Yeah, it's a strategy. We can do it with a strategy. Like, I don't care because I don't own any land there. The people that own land there, they get pissed. It's a free market. Gotta take care of my kids, right? So I like that 40. Let's try 41. I think 40 was the one that I clicked on. There's some stuff by this highway.
You're just noting down the parcel book, right? You're not writing how many records it has.
No. Yeah, I didn't. I started writing how many records it has in the beginning. I started dicking around with it, but the more of them I did, the less I care. So I'm just looking at the area. Like this area, I'm going to stick a whole bunch of them in there. And so I think if we keep counting, we're going to end up over here somewhere. So 42 should be over here. Let's see if 42 is over there. Just getting into some weirder hills. This is drier country. We're getting west more. The prices start dropping off over here.
Arizona is planning to start a YouTube channel.
Good. Why not? I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. It costs you time. But you can, if you got a stage to promote whatever it is you're trying to promote, and people believe in you, and you got good product or good service or good message, good stuff. I mean, why not? I don't know if I want to go this one out here, 42. This is the brown side. I think we stick closer to town. 43 is going to be either way brown or back to the coast. Oh, it's not that far over. Well, this is the beginning of it. It just gets into Creston. This is where we started. This is 43. We already got this one. Okay. So I think I got... Let's try down here. I wonder if I missed a pass down here. Let me just click around a little bit. 54. We got the 54. So I don't know if you guys understand the logic, but it's like reading, and we got to strip down the middle. So as we're reading from left to right, you know, the numbers that cross this stuff that we're interested in is ones I'm noting down. Trying to stay away from the coast and stay away from the dry. It's 34. I got the 34s. I think I got all this stuff. I'm sure I missed something in there, like a neighborhood. Here's a 55. Got 55. 54. 45. Did I get 45? How'd 45 get in there? I got 40. I scratched 42. Let's try 43. That gets out too dry. Let's try 44. Maybe 44 skips back to the coast, and then 45 makes sense. So 44. 44 is over by San Luis Obispo. I think that's gonna, yeah, that's gonna be a different mailer, I think, or different pricing model. We can do that another time. 45. 45 just, I think it's this whole section like in between before you get down to San Luis Obispo. Let's take a look at the other end of 45. Let's look at the last part. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a southern end. So let's do 45. Okay, so I got a list of them here. I'm going to type them in. I'm going to see like how many records we get. Assessor parcel number. Did I get any of them in there? So I got 80. I'm going to get rid of the 80. See if I can enter a bunch. Add and enter more. Okay, so I gotta start hitting that button. And if you guys have chimed in recently, I'm gonna give some land away at the end of this. So if you're like getting bored, what the heck's this guy doing? 2-hour video. I'm gonna give some land away.
Though.
The what?
But it's very important to go through these steps. I know it's kind of boring, but it's necessary.
So I think we're going to be doing higher dollar offers. You guys want to look at the market and see what your cheapest, what do you think the Luke Smith crazy offer is for this area? Like the offer that if somebody says yes, you're like, you know, no questions asked. We're going to buy that thing.
On the acreage, but
why do you think it depends on the acreage? I think that's the.
Oh yeah, we're not going with that model, right?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people base it on the acreage, and I think this kind of land it's artsier. It doesn't matter. Now, personally, I think larger acreage is worth more. But I don't think that's always the case, because lots of times the smaller acreage ones have more utilities, more access, more houses right next to them that make them easier to sell to like a developer that's just going to put a house on there and run. Sell it to some FHA borrowing person, you know, basically government finance. Jitney it from here to there. Keep the difference.
Beaver Cat says he'll watch you until sunrise. He doesn't care.
There you go. Thanks, Beaver. 051.
It'll be soon, sunrise.
Yeah.
But it's the only time that we had time to get on this, so I appreciate you staying up late with me.
Yeah, what time is it there?
About 12:45.
Okay. 10:45 here, roughly.
Oh, not that bad over there.
Yeah. Putting all those numbers in. I cover that whole area. There's lots of ways to isolate areas. The main drawback with this database is there's no like negatives. There's no, you can't just put everything but this. It's not that smart of a database. Interface, search tool, whatever. Query, I guess you call it database query system. Okay, so I got a nice long list. The list can't be too long or else it starts crashing. Like after a certain number of operations in here, it doesn't take anymore. 531. Give me more than that. Come on. That's not very many properties.
We're looking to be around 2,000 to 3,000.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna happen. Not with this this targeted of an offer. Someone's asking, anytime is your truck a 6.0? They're talking about trucks.
Yeah, we're talking about RVs over here. Getting one cheap.
The skunk smell is dissipated or gone away. That's a good thing.
Are you in a shed?
Yeah.
You're outside your house, right?
Yeah, I'm in a shed in my backyard. Skunk can like just walk right under the thing. It's like on blocks. It's free. I don't have to pay for it. Get an ocean view. It's dark out right now, but yeah, I wired some electricity out here. Definitely not to code. Put a big...
How's the ventilation?
Yeah, I put a sliding glass door in the front, and I left the sides open, so like the corners, like the overhangs, are just wide open. I mean, sometimes birds will come in. Because it gets hot, right? The sun hits the thing, there's no insulation. Yeah. And so if I leave the cracks up top, the heat goes up and out the cracks. Doesn't keep the heat in, like nighttime winter. I have a little electric heater. I run that by my feet or toes or whatever. That works fine. But for the most part, it's just air conditioning and heating is like by opening or closing the door different degrees. More open or less open. The 531, I think that's where we're at. So there's a bunch of dupes in here. I'll boil those out. This might be like a 300 unit mailer. Something like that.
Okay. I know they don't recommend that, but we're getting super targeted here, right?
Yep. Let's look at price a little bit more. I mean, I think I got that thing saved. I'm pretty sure I saved it. Because, you know, this basic area that we're in on Zillow, stuff for sale is like 100 grand. So if I wanted to sell some land in there for 50 grand, you can buy it at 25 grand, right?
Yep.
So looking at the sold, I mean, even if we bought it at 25 grand, we'd still be the bottom of the sells. Sold, there's 18. This 18 one just keeps, it's the seed in my head. It's like somebody paid 18 grand for 3.23 acres. I think it'd be interesting to look at the county data, what people actually paid for the data set that we pulled, like what they've paid and what they haven't. I think we should pull the data and take a look at that and study that. I also think we should see if we can find Redfin on here.
Lonely Prepper says, Luke, what size mailing do you tend to stick with? I know you're doing big numbers now, right?
I mean, there's different strategies. I mean, there's totally different strategies. I love the 10,000 unit kind of mailer. Like, you know, the statistics are just on your side, right? You're going to do some deals. It's going to be awesome. there's a lot more room for error if your pricing's way too low or whatever. If it's too high, you can cherry pick your way through it. I think the bigger the mailer, the better on that front. But it's at a cost too. Do you want to spend a bunch of time on the phone talking to hundreds of people that call back on a 10,000 unit mailer? Or do you just want to get more accurate? Like, this thing's a lot more accurate, right? You get one deal out of here. I'm guessing at the numbers. Buy it for 25 grand and sell it for 50 grand the next day or something, as soon as it comes through. Versus doing a whole bunch of smaller ones. I mean, there's a lot of different angles on this. Maybe you don't offer 25 grand. Maybe you offer 40 grand in this kind of market. And maybe two of them come in that are like weird ones. It's like, I'm not paying 40 grand for them. Like, it's not, they're so weird. I can't keep a straight face looking at this property. Like, I'll give you 20 grand for it. You still sell it for 30 grand or 40 grand or something. I don't know. But then some of them come in at 40 that you never would have seen if you mailed 25 grand to them. They were just throwing it away. All of a sudden you buy it at 40, you sell it for 150. I don't know. Like, the numbers are all across the board, right? You never really know until the people that are highly motivated and want to sell call you back and say, buy my land. I need the money right now. Your offer sucks. I need this much money. Like, I got to pay for my kid's tuition for college, or I got to pay for, guy's going to break my kneecaps if I don't pay off my gambling debts. Like, I need it now. Like, you never know what their story is,
Real
right?
motivation.
Yeah, real motivation. They don't care about that land. Their grandpa gave it to them. Like, how fast can you turn it into cash? They never been there. Like, they live in a different state. So, Redfin's got this grid thing going on. Here's some $50,000 ones. I think these are up for sale. These are for sale. Let's see, filters. We want land. Let's turn the sold on. The lot size. Let's do one acre minimums. Let's get rid of the smaller ones. So 1 acre minimums. They're saying this one's been on the market 149 days for 85 grand. This one's been on the market for like a year at 100 grand. Let's see. No, look at sold. I don't know. I don't see the sold ones in here. It seems like there should be some solds. What's 85 grand? It's been on the market for a couple months. Half a year or something. It's a star. It's a hill. It's a funny shape. They figured out how to fit a car next to the hill and the street and the house. Got a housing plan. Put it on the hill. Look, you can look right downtown. 85 grand. So the weird ugly hill thing, you can hardly fit the car on and the house. They want 85 grand. It's been up for sale for 5 or 6 months. So if you bought one for 30 grand, sold it for 60, you'd still be below this, and you can cherry pick them, and you probably get a better property than this ugly hill thing. It goes faster. Let's look at that hill. There's your hill. That's why the car was on the side, and then the house hangs over, I think. Not sure where okay, so here's the topography. I can't tell if it's going up or down. Doesn't matter. 85 grand. Let's see if they got sold stuff. thought I did sold.
Anytime our viewers is asking, is Redfin better than Zillow? Because Redfin has my house valued at 10 grand more than Zillow.
Nice. I like Redfin a lot more because they give you the data. I don't know about their valuation prices, but they just give you the friggin' data. They give you a table and you can sort by stuff, and seems to be a lot more user friendly. But they don't cover as many areas as Zillow does. So Redfin pulls data from MLS information and some other databases. So the MLS that they're logged into in different areas, and then I don't know what their other data sets are. I think they might pull some from the county, but I'm not exactly sure where all their data comes from. So a lot of areas you look them up and they're not covered by Redfin. They don't have the MLS data there. They don't have the data feed there. They're not set up there. Maybe someday, but they're not there right now. Zillow, I know they used to get the MLS feeds, and some of the MLS still feed into Zillow. Some do, some don't. And there's a for sale by owners. Like you can post your property on Zillow. It's just like click, click, click. You don't have to pay anything. It's a pain in the butt to like figure it out on the maps and get it all to track right and everything for vacant land, but you can still do it, and they don't charge you. They hide your name, if they even put the name on there, way at the bottom with your phone number, and then they put all their realtors next to your property that makes it look like you got a realtor going on the property, but really the realtor is just paying for ads to be up there. So a lot of the people using Zillow are like, oh, let's call this realtor. So they call the realtor at the top of the page, and then you got to pay some realtor fees to coerce the realtor into talking the person into buying it and not talking them out of buying it. So it's all about the realtor on Zillow. And a lot of the people that call in that actually find your number are very fresh off the boat buyers, like really green questions in my opinion. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. Like, they have not done their homework. They don't know what they want yet. They're not ready to buy. They're really early stage in the process. I kind of rather skip the Zillow shoppers myself, but I like the people that...
You don't even post anything on there? You don't post any of your land on Zillow?
I used to. The phone rings so hard I can't keep up with the way it is. Like, the Zillow people just ask about... I can't even start to give examples. You have to be on the other side of the phone. Like, the questions are... I'm thinking about buying some land. Should I get some with some trees? Stuff that doesn't make any sense to what I'm trying to sell. Like, not even close. They just found a phone number and they started dialing. They don't know if they want to buy in the same state that I have land in. Like, they'll ask me about stuff that, like, I'm not a realtor, Like, I can't go represent someone else's stuff wherever they want the land. I got what I got, and it's for sale, and there you go. So 100 grand. These are the sold ones, right? I think that's what I was doing. Yeah, sold in the last 2 years. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool data. Sold in the last 2 years. Now I want price cheapest. 100 grand. So this is a Tascadero. Maybe we do San Luis Obispo. So remember, if we were looking at Zillow, sold in the last 2 years for this same area, there was stuff at like 18 grand that was showing up on Zillow. Is that good data? Does Redfin have better data? I think Redfin is just MLS data. Or the vast majority of it's MLS data. I don't know if we can do the whole, maybe I'm not spelling it right, or I don't know. But yeah, let's remove the outline. Oh, now they got one for 5 grand. Oh, this is the 2.5 acre junk out in the desert. Where's this one at? And these are sold, so the days on Redfin doesn't make sense because they're sold, so just ignore that. Might be the date since it got listed. I don't know. But basically, I think it's $100,000 kind of market.
Market, yep.
Another website we can look at is Realtor.
For a while. There's some people that have been on here for a while, but some people are going to sleep now.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. I'm not on the right website. So I think we got the market figured out. I think we got the data figured out. We just gotta go make it happen. So, you agree, Ben? You got any other questions or any other topics or?
No, I'm good.
Okay, let's give some land away. I gotta come up with a question. So, we started out, and I know the question. It's when we did the introduction, Ben Dow was saying he's got he does a podcast. And so we talked about the name of Ben Dow's podcast. So the first person who doesn't work with me, or has won land from me before, who can say the name of Ben Dow's podcast, you can probably find it in multiple locations instead of just remembering back from the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah, 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago. Maybe look at the description of this video. You probably figure out the name of his podcast and put that in the chat. So the first person to come up with the name of his podcast and put that in the chat, I'll give you a free piece of land. You can do whatever you want with the land. Might take me a couple months to actually get it to you totally legally so you could go sell it and do your stuff with it. But it's free. So, that's the idea. See if someone come up with a name. Something I know, please. There was a good hint. It's like in the description of this video, I typed it in there. You could cut and paste it if you didn't listen to the thing before. Ben, are you watching the chat? You're gonna see someone come across there.
What is the name of my podcast?
Yeah, Ben Dow. He's got a podcast. How do you find it? It's on Stitcher, Apple. Did anyone come up with it yet? Hookah-list. Is that the first one? What's the one before that? Big Time Dreams podcast.
Big Time podcast, but it's actually Big Time Dreams podcast.
Okay, so Hookah-list. Hookah-list is the first one. So Hookah-list. I'm gonna capture this here. Hookah-list, will you please give me your information? So the best way for you to get this information to me is to go to sorry, I'm recording who's winning this thing into my notes. So if you email my assistant Gillian, Gillian, I'll type it into the chat in just a sec. I'm saving your name stuff here. But if you send her an email about the title of the property, you want the title to be in your name or your trust or your company or your kids or whatever, and can't find it where I'm trying to save this, but yeah, so the title of land, so if you've ever owned a real asset before, you probably know what I'm talking about when it comes to land, or when it comes to the title. But the title of the land, I'm gonna change this, get that thing off the screen. So the title of land, sorry I keep losing my place, but the title, the address that you want me to send the deed to, or in the future tax bills to go to for this land that you're getting, and contact information. I want your contact information, so please email it or call in or whatever. You can Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. My phone number is 760-274-7711. But I think the best way to do is if you write this down so we can cut and paste it and email it to my assistant, Gillian, Gillian, at ruralvacantland.com. And Gillian will get that into the process. We'll start getting land out to you here right shortly.
Cool.
Yeah, right? I can't figure out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'll do it when we get off the line. That was the next one. I'm gonna write it down because I can't figure out how to do it on the computer. I'm on stage. It's hard for me to do everything. Okay, maybe put the date in there too. So I'm gonna write the email. Gillian@ruralvacantland.com. And thank you. Thanks everybody for listening, for watching. Thanks Ben Dow for coming on the line, for helping put this mailer together. We're gonna figure out how to do the phone calls and the exact pricing, but I think it's gonna be. I'm not exactly sure on the pricing. I think a little bit higher dollar pricing and cherry pick our way through it, not take everything that comes in. And I think we'll get a lot higher accuracy of deals and not the ugliest, ugly fugly hillside crazy thing. That's right now the cheapest stuff in the market. And get a good one, get a couple of them and go resell them for more and make this 2.5 hour video totally worth our time.
Yeah, so I'll call you tomorrow on that.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks guys, thanks everybody, and thank you Hookalist for winning the property. Thanks for listening in, thanks for paying attention. If you're watching this after the live video, the recorded version, please subscribe. Next time you can watch it live and get a shot at some free land. And if you're watching it live, thanks for already subscribing. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for chiming in at this crazy time of the night to watch some properties, watch some land dealings for properties happen. Thanks for chiming in, questions and everything else. Talk to you guys later. See you in the next video. Bye.